I want to talk briefly about Hunter Biden because this is a very, very big story in the United States, and this is the fact that the president's son, President Biden's son, there was an idea of a plea deal in terms of his 3 federal gun charges, but he's been criminally charged now with 3 counts of lying when buying a firearm after a proposed plea deal collapsed. David Katz is former assistant U.S. attorney and a criminal defense attorney. David, thanks for joining us from America. I know it's late for you, so appreciate that. Tell us what's going on here and what your thoughts are on it.
Well, my thoughts are it's a remarkable event in the sense that no son or daughter of a president has ever been charged in American history. You know, we just made history with former President Trump. He was the first former or sitting president to actually be charged with a crime, and he was charged with 2 different federal crimes, of course, and then he was charged in 2 different states, down in Georgia, in Atlanta, and in New York City. It looks like the only case that will probably go to trial before the November 2024 election is the case in Washington, D.C. federal court, in my opinion. And a lot of people think that this new indictment against Hunter Biden, the whole interest in it, sort of the impetus for it, is that former President Trump and the Republicans who control the House of Representatives would like to have a "you got us, we got you," you know, while there's the trials of Trump going on, or the motions in the Trump trials going on in 2024, well, aha, there'll not only be an impeachment brought by the House of Representatives that will then be tried in the Senate, and of course he will not be convicted.
I mean, I'm no great
more than Trump was.
I'm no great fan of President Biden, but that impeachment is so ridiculous. Tell me how much you think the Hunter Biden charges here will have an effect on his father and his father's potential re-election as President of the United States.
Well, I was just going to make the point that at the same time as that impeachment will be going nowhere in the Senate, it will not be going toward conviction, that there'll also be perhaps this Hunter Biden trial, because my assessment of it is that after the plea deal fell apart, the so-called sweetheart deal, where he was going to get pretrial diversion and 2 tax misdemeanors, but no felony charges at all, and a promise of a recommendation of no prison time from what was then the U.S. attorney in Delaware, now the special counsel. After that went nowhere, this was sort of inevitable that the deal having fallen apart, there would be a felony indictment because the statute of limitations is about to run. And so it's about 5 years, tick tock, from when the gun purchase was made in Delaware by Hunter Biden back in 2018.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? And in terms of Donald Trump, it just seems that his popularity goes up every time that, I mean, there are 91 charges against him, yet he looks like the presumptive nominee for the Republican nomination. Do you think, I know we're talking from a legal perspective, but from a political perspective, David, perhaps I could ask you, do you think it'll be Trump versus Biden? Do you think that will be what the American public is asked to choose on again?
I think it will be Trump versus Biden. As President Lincoln famously said in the election of 1864, don't change horses in midstream.
Yeah.
And every time that they've changed horses in midstream, in fact, even challenged to change horses in midstream, Carter lost and Bush's dad lost, and both were seriously challenged. So I think this idea that maybe Governor Gavin Newsom out here in California would run, that I think is a suicide pact all around, and I think Trump then wins. If you look at the nomination, it's pretty clear that Trump has it wrapped up, whether people like it or not. DeSantis kind of went nowhere after he fought with the Disney Corporation, and no one else seems to have gained any traction. So it looks like it's going to be Trump-Biden again. And, you know, regarding this charge right now, I think to some extent, Hunter Biden's lawyers, who are well known and well regarded, they probably overplayed their hand, and they probably should have accepted something because it was just 2 misdemeanors. And those misdemeanor charges are about to be brought. That's going to happen in the future. But the case that the congressional Republicans really care about, that there be a Burisma prosecution, that there be foreign payments from China that get indicted and that go not only to Hunter Biden, but that go up to President Biden, it looks like that is not going to happen. That will be covered in the impeachment that, as I say, will go nowhere. But I think as a legal matter, I think that's not going to be brought. I think after a couple of motions, though, we will have Hunter Biden actually going to trial during the electoral season.
And that will be fascinating, especially if, well, we'll see what happens with Trump. But David, thank you very, very much indeed. David Katz, our former assistant U.S. attorney and criminal defense attorney.